with especially deep honor that we introduce tonight the 13 Indigenous Grandmothers Council. Originating from all four corners of the world, these 13 wise women, elders, and medicine women first came together at a peace gathering in 2004. They represent a global alliance of prayer, education, and healing for the earth. We are honored to host as representatives of this Grandmothers Council, Grandmothers Rita and Beatrice Long Visitor Holy Dance of the Lakota tribe, and Grandmother Mona Palaka of the Hopi, Havasupai, and Tiwa tribes. Sister Rita and Beatrice Long Visitor Holy Dance, or Aglala Sioux, and live on the Pine Ridge Reservation in South Dakota. They are descended from Long Visitor and are members of the Crazy Horse Band, named for the great warrior Crazy Horse. Grandmother Rita Long Visitor Holy Dance is a Lakota keeper of the traditional ways. Great-grandmother, Native American church elder and beadworker. Rita is a member of the Council of Language Elders, focusing on Oglala Lakota language immersion and teaching their native tongue to children and to elders. Grandmother Beatrice Long Visitor Holy Dance is a great-great-grandmother. Also a Lakota keeper of the traditional ways, a Native American church elder, sun dancer, and health worker for people with diabetes, as well as also working with the Council of Language Elders to focus on Oglala Lakota language immersion. Grandmother Mona Palaka's name means butterfly in the Hopi language. For almost 30 years, Grandmother Mona Palaka has worked in the field of alcoholism and substance abuse. She has developed substance abuse programs for tribal youth and organized inside her culture with youth programs led by elders who shared traditions and life stories. Tonight, the theme is planting seeds for 7 generations. The grandmothers will talk about the roots of change, how to create positive change so that a future is possible for 7 generations. Tonight, they share their cultural treasures and life experience in support of a community's exploration of the ethics of wholeness together. So without further ado, let's begin. Thank you.
First of all, I'd just like to greet each and every one of you. Good evening. And my Havasupai language, we say kamil. And I'd just like to say that it's an honor to be here on this side of what we call Turtle Island, this North American continent, my homeland. To be here where the first light of the day touches the Mother Earth of North America. And it's also, of course, special to the grandmothers to be able to come and share some of the teachings that we carry with us in our life experience. I'm Havasupai, Havasu Baj, which are the people of the Grand Canyon. And that's my mother's people. They live down in the bottom of the Grand Canyon. And Havasu Baj, it means the people of the blue water. And so I'm from the water clan. That's what I was told. And then on my father's side, I'm Hopi, the people of peace up in northern Arizona in the mesas, the Pueblo people and Tewa people who are from New Mexico, the Hano Tail. That's my grandfather, paternal grandfather's side. And I'm from the Sun Clan, Hopi Sun Clan, and on the Tewa side, I'm from the Tobacco. And so I was told that wherever I go, I need to introduce myself that way, so that we say the the people of this land, the ancestral people of this land, the spirits of this land, the people that were that lived here before the coming of Europeans, that they will recognize that I'm one of them. And so, so when I'm speaking about this, I'm not just speaking to you, I'm also acknowledging those ancestors of this land here, the First Nations of this land here. And so I just wanted to introduce myself that way. And then also to say a little bit about this theme, planting seeds for the next 7 generations. And so to give you an idea about that, I'd like for you to just, for a moment here, close your eyes, and I'm going to sing a song for us to come together, put our minds, hearts, spirits, bodies together. Hey anai na hi ana hi ana hey nay. Hey anai na hi ana hi ana hey nay. Hey anai na hi ana hi ana hey nay. Hey anai na hi ana hey nay. Ba kyu va hi ana hey nay. Hey anai na hi ana hi ana hey nay oe. Ba kyu va hi ana hey nay. Hey anai na hi ana hi ana hey nay. Hey anai na hi ana hi ana hey nay. Hey anai na hi ana hi ana hey nay. Hey anai na hi ana hi ana hey nay. Ba kyu ba hi ana hey nay. Hey anai na hi ana hi ana hey nay. So there are some things that we all have in common. And part of the work of the grandmothers is to promote this concept, this idea of our similarities as human beings, that we are all one, we are all related. And so if you think about yourself, that time before you came into this world, as you may even think about of yourself as if you were like a little seed and you were inside your mother's womb and you started to develop into a human being. You lived inside water. And so we say, this water is very special. We have that kind of relationship with it. We lived inside water for 3/4 of a year in our mother's womb. And when it was time for us to be born, to come into this world, the water, it came out before us, and we followed it. And we say that's the first foundation of life. And then the next thing that you did, each one of us did when we came into this world, was we opened our mouth and we took in this breath of air for the first time in our life, filled our lungs with this air. And when we let it out, we let our first cry, the first sound that we made into this world, and that created this vibration. And we say, we let the spirits and this creation know that we are here through that cry, through that sound. And ever since then, that's what we've been doing with this air, moving it inside of us and outside of us, and through that, making a sound, expressing ourselves, our feelings, our thoughts, being able to express the things that we need in life, communicate with one another and others. And through our prayers, expressing ourselves through song. We've been doing that with this air ever since then, that time. So we say that's the second foundation of life. The next thing that happened was you were at home, you went into your home, and they maybe built up the fire, turned on the lights, made it bright, make it warm, they say. Made it warm for you, made it comfortable for you. And then at some point in time, you had a fire in your house. At some point in time, they took you outside for the first time. The sun looked at you. And this grandfather's son, this great fire in the sky, looked at you for the first time in your life and blessed you with this day, and has been doing that ever since then. So we say that's the third foundation of life. And then some point in time where your caretaker took you, laid you down on the floor, laid you down on Mother Earth, and at first you just lay there on your back. Somewhere along the way where you rolled over, you lay there. Then pretty soon they took you and sat you up. You started to sit there on this Mother Earth, experiencing your body, your backbone, from head to toe, connection, sitting there. Somewhere along the way, your caretaker, someone took you, stood you up on your 2 feet, started letting you feel your feet under you. At some point in time where they let go of your hands, and you stood there, both of your feet on this Mother Earth, experiencing balance and connection with Mother Earth for the first time in your life. You ever think about or you ever see what a child, a baby looks like when they stand for the first time? Isn't that a joy to see? To witness that? It's a wonder. That's what that child is experiencing, the wonder of balance and connection to Mother Earth. And then some point in time started to take steps, started to walk, make their path. You made your path on this Mother Earth, all the way up to this point in time right now where you're at. Your connection with Mother Earth, the fourth foundation of life. And we all have that in common. That we all have that connection with these four basic foundations of life. And as you continue in your life, begin to learn how to use them, use these things. And so when we think about this concept or this idea of, planting seeds for the next 7 generations, you can go back to the beginning of your own life and think about from you, the generations that come from you. They have that. They have had, if you're a parent or you're a grandparent, a soon-to-be parent, thinking about becoming a grandparent, wanting to be a parent, all these different positions of what life is, your role, your responsibility. That's planting, that's the seeds. The seeds for this life to continue on. And so this idea, this concept of 7 generations. So I was told I'm a 7th generation. I'm part of a 7th generation that has been complete. And so everyone is part of a 7th generation. That time's going to come. At least that's what we hope for. That's what the way when we say that, we're talking about hope. We're having this hope about that life's going to continue. There's more that's going to come. But we have to think that way. We have to pray that way. We have to hope that way. We have to have faith that way. That's what we have that, to look beyond today. Look beyond today, that there's something more coming. Just like every day, every evening, the sun goes down, we look beyond today and hope for that there's going to be another day that's going to come. And we always have faith. We have no doubt about it. Just have that faith that this day is going to close, and we're going to go on into the night, and then in the morning time we're going to have another day come our way. Have another opportunity again to continue to see those seeds grow. And I was told by an elder of mine, I work with children. I work with all age groups, community organizing. And I was told by an uncle of mine, I was working with a group of about 30 children, and he told me, he said, he said, sometimes, children are like seeds. And sometimes what we have to do is we have to take them and sit them down, plant them, connect them to Mother Earth again. So he gave me instructions from that to do this, to take time out to do this sometime with the children. He said it's like planting seeds. And so, but you know what? One thing he didn't tell me was how old those kids were going to be. There's no age. It can be any person who has, the openness to hear, to participate, to see, and to be part of, to step into the circle of sharing, the circle of, acquiring new ideas or knowledge, the old knowledge. And so, and then I was told that, these teachings, they're not, they aren't anything new. They're called the original instructions. That's what the grandmothers carry, is what's called the original instructions. And part of those original instructions are things that our people were told. Indigenous people were told about how to survive and how to live in this world and how to take care of it. When I was 14 years old, my mother, she told me, "You're not in this world for nothing. You have a purpose in life. You have a responsibility." She said, what you do, what you say, how you behave, where you put yourself, all of those things, they have an effect on your mother and your father, your brothers and your sisters, your extended family, your community, your tribe, your nation, and the world, and even all the way up to the universe. They have an effect. She said, and it's your responsibility to take care of these things that give us our life. Respect it. She said, when it comes to water, she said, you might see a body of water down in the Grand Canyon. We have the beautiful waterfalls, beautiful, pristine water. And she said, you see that, you come upon it, you look at it, you see it's beautiful. And probably the first thing people would look at and they say, I want to jump into it. And some people do, but they get hurt. And she said, we don't do that. You show respect to this water. You show respect. What you do is you go to it and you put your hands into it and introduce yourself to it. You introduce yourself to it. I'm your child. You introduce yourself to it. And then after you've introduced yourself to it, you touch it, you reach up, you bless yourself. And say, I'm going to use you. I want to enjoy you. I want to partake of you. I want to feel you on my body. I'm going to come in. Introduce yourself that way. Then you go ahead and go in. You don't just run and jump right into it. You don't do that in your everyday walk of life, do you? Most of the time, you're cautious. You take time, look at what's ahead of you. As I guess in the cities, they say you stop and look before you cross the street, like that. Same thing with the water. And she says, she said, this is how you are. You be that way with it. And so these were, the teachings that were given to me about how to pay respect. Pay respect to the water. Every day in our life we do that. We use all these things, these elements. Every day when you get up in the morning, the first thing you do is go to water. Go wash your face, go rinse your mouth out, take a drink, take a shower, use the water. But how often do you take a moment to pay respect to it? To take a moment to give a good thought to the water of thankfulness. Thank you. Because when you use it, it makes you feel good, doesn't it? You feel rejuvenated, you feel refreshed, you feel good. It does that to you. But most of the time we don't stop and take a moment to say thank you to it. And so that's one of the, I guess what I can offer to you as a seed for the next 7 generations, to take care of that water so that the next generations that are going to come are going to have some when they come. The teaching that they tell us is that, like I said, my mother said, you have a responsibility to take care of these things. And that responsibility is that you're going to take care of it, and so that the future generations, you're going to pass it on or leave it for them, so that you leave it for them and you keep it in good order. Almost even, as some people say, better than the way you found it. Take care of it. That's what the elders always say. And where I'm from, Arizona, the Hopi people, they live out in the desert. They live up in the mesas. I don't know, maybe some of you have seen pictures or have been there. But you're driving out there in the desert. There's no river flowing out there. There's no lakes. There's no little streams of water. It's desert. And what the people, those people, my people, the Pueblo people, the Navajo people, the ones that live out there in that area, you look out there and you wonder, what do they live off of? How do they live out here? So, they follow those original instructions of survival that they were given. The Hopi people, when they say when they first came into this world, they were given a gourd of water, some corn, and a planting stick. And they were told, this is what you're going to survive on. Take care of it. And when they were given, there were 4 brothers, the red, yellow, black, and white. They all came, they were all there. They were all given these 4 basic things. The Hopi people, they picked the smallest ear of corn, the humblest of all the corn that was there. That was what they picked. And they went out, they were out there at that land. They planted their corn. And you know what they depend on? They depend on their prayers. They make prayers. They have to make their prayers to, call on the thunder beings and the rain gods. Call on Creator. Send the water, send the rain. Send that rain so we can have our corn crop, our gardens will grow. We'll have something to feed our families. We can continue to live here. That's what they depend on. They make those prayers. They haven't strayed away from it. They've continuously have depended on their prayers the prayers that they offer to bring the rain, and then to water their plants. I think they're there's this term called permaculture. That's permaculture, I guess. The way they plant, where they plant, how they know the water how the water runs, they know how it all flows. It's all connected. So they depend on that prayer. Then the rains come. And the rains come, so this humble little corn that they chose, it has a real quick growing cycle. Because the rain doesn't come constantly. It's a real brief rain season, waters their crops, their crops grow, they have a harvest. So this is how they exist. This is how they continue to survive there from time immemorial. They have existed this way. And so they continue that. And part of that, the way I was told, was that prayer they've been practicing. There's a prayer that goes and that's in there, and it's asking Creator to bless the future generations that are yet to come, the ones that we will not see. So when we talk about 7 generations, those are the ones we will not see. And we, as the people today, it's incumbent upon us to think about those generations that are yet to come, the ones that we will not see. That's where we are here today, at that point of that responsibility, to consider that. In most practices today, you have what you call maybe a 5-year strategic plan, 10-year, 20-year strategic plans about a business, perhaps. But what about our basic life survival? What about that water? What about this air? What about this fire? What about this Mother Earth? What is going to be available for those generations that are yet to come? You have generations. It's not just Indigenous people. You all have generations. You're part of a generation. Why not think about that? Why not start putting that in your plans? It's so important. It's so important for us to, take time to really think about those things, especially today, now. And the reason why I'm saying that now is because right now, in the state of Arizona, like I told you, Hopi, Navajo, water flows usually in the rain season. Well, right now there's a Senate bill that is called the Navajo Hopi Water Settlement Act, being introduced by our own Senator McCain and Senator Kyle, to take what water is there. There's the aquifer. There's an aquifer that's out under the lands of the Hopi and Navajo. But this Senate bill, and there's a House bill too, where they want these tribes to give up their right to that water. In exchange, for a little bit of water that they will pipe back out onto the reservations, the tribal lands, but not to the entire tribal lands, just to maybe 3 different places. But they haven't, it's a promise that they're making. But there's no money. They're saying they're going to do this, but they don't have money to pay for it. But they want the tribes to give them all our water. And you know what they're going to do with that water they're taking? They're giving it to a mining company. They're going to give it to another, a power and electric company to take that water out of the reservation into mining, take the water out of the reservation across the state and into California, different parts of some southern Arizona cities. That's what they want to do with this water. And when the tribes, of course, our first response is, this is our life. When we say this is our lifeblood, it literally is our lifeblood. It is. If they were there to take that water, the people who live there on those lands, right now on those lands, there are actually still people who do not have running water in their homes. There's no water delivery system in communities. What they do is they go to the springs, still today. They travel out to the springs and they fill their jugs and their water tanks and they bring the water back to their homes. And this is what they use to water their livestock, because they have livestock, their sheep, their horses, their cattle. They still are self-subsistent. And they rely on that water that way. So you take that water away, and the water that they're promising to give back to them is only water that they're saying will be for household use. So what I'm saying about taking care of the water, the elements, is very real, very real to us. Very real, because it can be taken by an act of Congress. By an act of Congress. They can look at our people and say, we're going to pass this law and that water is going to be ours. And we're expected to say, yeah, sure, okay. But now we're at this point where this consciousness, the consciousness about the original instructions is like surfacing in a stronger way than ever before. It's unfortunate that I feel sad, because I have heard 10 years ago by a representative of the United Nations say that the next wars are going to be over water. And they're already preparing. I mean, right here in our own country. So this is you know, just one piece of it. I mean, it's huge. There's a lot more to it. A lot more to it. But when I'm sharing this with you because it's so easy to overlook the importance of taking care of these basic foundations when everything seems so orderly. Everything is in order. You know, I mean, we're driving through the woods and looking around, and wow, trees everywhere, water, and it's really, you know, what a contrast. What a contrast. But you know, these are some of the issues that, you know, we're dealing with about, and our concerns about the next 7 generations that are yet to come, the ones we will not see. So I'm just thinking about these things right now, and for me, water, you know, that's been my work. That's my work, the water, to take care of it. You know, that's my responsibility. And so I just wanted to share those words with you, and I hope that in some way the words we're sharing with you tonight will be of some benefit to you in your everyday walk of life. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Good evening. First of all, I'll introduce myself. I am Rita Long Visitor Holy Dance, and I am from the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation of South Dakota. And I am very pleased to be here with you people.
Thanks.
So,
maybe I'll take some.
Since we have to be talking about generations, I was put to a Catholic school when I was 7 years old, and I left that school after 10 years. I was in that school, and all during the time that I was going to school there, they didn't allow us to talk Lakota, our Lakota language. We got punished for speaking our Lakota language. So I just want to let you people know that I speak English and I understand everything, but since the sisters punished us for speaking our Lakota language, I'm going to speak my Lakota language to you people. But my son that's sitting here with me, he will interpret for me. So don't think that I don't know how to speak English. I had to speak it because I'm being punished so many times by the sisters, the Catholic sisters. So anyway, I thought I'd let you know. You might think that, why is she speaking Lakota when she could speak English? So first of all, I'm gonna say a little prayer for each and every one of us and throughout the world, for the poor, the helpless, for the children, and the people that are all locked up. So, and for our enemies. We all have to love our enemies, no matter what. You all know that. So I'm going to say a prayer in my Lakota language. O Tunkashla, lech tata kiha. Oya te awichi trokabahio take. Lena oya te kish an taku chimpin an taku krabseche. Oya Tunkashla, anumbia, mankrasi tomnia. Oya te kia kakijape. Oheon Tunkashla, wo kiwi chaku. Na taku kia lena Tunkashla. Anagoptana nach umbikte. Wachankeet Tunkashla. Wakanka wa onshnit ka echok chikel. Wacheke kile gulhana waji. Echa yashnashna wacheke wakarat ka Tunkashla. Onshla makuna tako prekile na namichik uwe. Hetwet hoechet uwe mitako yasi. O trokea tako e printe kena nach uwe. Nayak uwe.
And I believe yes.
Ah.
Okay, entro.
Tako e prekile na nayak uwe e pre. Ena tanya chub uichak yakaya.
Could you hear me? My mother said that I hope you all heard and understood what I have just spoken to you about.
Ishe ehani
A long time ago.
manetu shakoin hektakya. Unkichara peha.
7 generations ago, when we were children,
Unchiena ish ate ina hena taku umaki akape.
my grandmother and my grandfather and my father, they told me many things.
Wachanke hechia hektakji uagalakingte.
And so that is where I'm going to be speaking from.
Taku umaki akap hena lila tanyana wachami.
The things that I was told, I tried to thoroughly understand it.
Wachanke imat ichak amayek etchel wakanja wichabluha. Hena lehan ichak ape.
And as I came through the years, I eventually had children, and they also grew up.
Hoheon le trehan taku won uspe ila otechike taku ochunke akapiglena nach umshni atakjish.
And it seems like some of the things that I've shared and told my children, it seems they just didn't sometimes grasp the concepts of what I was telling them.
Lehan the 7th generation kile wahina tima.
And so I am now standing in my 7th generation.
Ash
And it's difficult to translate. And so I will tell it the best that I can in the English language.
What I was trying to say was that back in the old days, my grandmother my dad, and me. And now I had 7 boys and 1 daughter, and so I have my son had a daughter, and so he's a grandfather, but he's no longer with us. And then my granddaughter had a daughter, and then from there her daughter had a little boy. So I am a great grandmother, and I appreciate that very much. But nowadays, you have to really talk to our children. Seems to me like they don't like. I was growing up. Of course, I was at the Catholic school, so even at home, my mother and dad, they were kind of strict with us and our grandmother. And so we grew up, my sister and I, we grew up listening to our parents, our grandmother, grandfather. And we obeyed, we listened and we obeyed to whatever they said. We have to listen. But now our generation is out of control. And so we have to, my age, us that are my age, we have to try very hard to control the future generation. Because even if you're sitting there telling them this and that, they're not going to listen. They'll just stand up and walk away from you. And they just go ahead and do whatever they want. And so I have, of course, I have all these boys, and then my grandkids are all boys. So it's really hard to talk to them. I have 1 daughter, and she's got boys. And my son, he's got boys. And my whole family, out of my family, there's only maybe 4 girls, and the rest are all boys. And so as I'm sitting here telling you these things, I have to use harsh words on them boys. And so you know what a harsh word is. I'm not very, they get me mad. And I tell them, what are you going to do in the future? When I'm gone, what are you going to do? Who are you going to come to? Who are you going to ask for? Oh, Grandma told us this. It's going to be too bad. I'm not going to be around to hear it. And that's when I just sit them down and I talk to them. The future is yours, not mine. My future is now. And I tell them, the future is yours, and you have children. You got to teach them, children. The future that you're walking, you got to teach them. And I tell them, do you hear me? And they'll say, mm-hmm. What? Yeah. And I don't have all my grandchildren, they don't call me grandma. When they call me grandma, I tell them, look at me in my face. do I look like a white man? Do I look like a white lady? Do I have blue eyes? And they say, no. And I said, well, what are you going to call me? They don't know. So I tell them, you call me Unchi. Unchi, that's grandma in Lakota. So now they don't call me grandma. If they say grandma, I don't listen to them either. I have deaf ears. So they call me Unchi. So even Joti and the rest of the girls, that the grandma, you know, the 13 grandmas, they call me Unchi. So if they say grandma to me, I don't know who they're talking to. So anyway, so anyway, that's what I tell my children and my grandkids. And I have my great-grandson. He has a naughty mouth, you know, for a little guy. Where he learned it? From the bigger boys, from the bigger kids with, you know, they don't talk good. They use them dirty language. So for a little guy, he learned it, and he said them words. So that's why I keep telling my children, my grandkids, I tell them every day, I say, I'm not going to be here. One day I'm going to be gone. And when I'm gone, what are you going to say? Well, you know, Unchi said this, and it's going to be too bad. So I tell them, you listen, and you listen good to what I say. I said, when I was young, my dad, my mother, they talked to us. If we do something bad, you know, we get it. My sister and I, she knows. We were crazy kids too at one time. That is when we're out of school. But with the nuns around, you know, we have to be. That's why I have bad knees now. I can't walk very good. I prayed too much. So, so anyway, that's the way I bring up my children, my grandkids. I talk to them every day. I talk to them when they're there. And when I'm talking, and if they walk out, I make them come back in. Hey, you sit down. You sit here. I'm not through talking with you. So I'm at them kids, at my boys. And I tell them about the future that's coming. Not today, not tomorrow, but the years and years that are coming. I talk to them about it. Get a book, read. Don't be sitting there watching that TV. I'm really strict with my boys, even with my son. And he knows it. That's why he's quiet. So I thought I would cheer you guys up, and so you can. There's a lot in my life. I joined the grandmothers, and when this young lady sitting here, when we first had the meeting, and then she spoke And she said, I was wondering if the grandmothers thought that we would get together, and without thinking real good that us 13 grandmothers sitting there, oh yes, we all said, yes! You know, we didn't know what we were getting ourselves into. We all agreed, we were all happy, and then we decided that we were gonna, she asked that we would organize and all that, and how many times are we gonna have a meeting? Somebody said every once a year, and somebody said every 6 months, and we thought every 6 months was good, and I thought once a year, pretty soon, you know, we're not gonna even think about it. So every 6 months, I thought was, you know, for my part, I thought that was very interesting because our minds would be on the meeting and the gathering and what we're going to be talking about for the next meeting that's going to be coming up. So every 6 months we meet and we're all glad to see one another. And so after the first meeting, I went to second and the third. And then all of a sudden, I thought to myself, thinking about the meeting, and then the second meeting, he went, wrote down everything, and when we got back home, told me to read it, go through it, so I read it. Every time we go meeting, he's got all these books that he writes everything down. And then when we get home, I have to study that. Here, read this through, Mom. And then one time I thought to myself, I didn't tell him, but I thought, what did I get myself into? But it's good. It's been very good for me. It keeps me alive, look like. Think about my children, what's going to happen this way and that way, and then here comes the meetings that are coming up, and I look forward to it. I look forward to it, to see the grandmothers, and so I got myself, and then they would call and we're going to send you here, we're going to send you there. Are you willing to go to that place? And I would say, yes. I never back down on anything. I just say yes. I don't know what I'm getting myself into, but, you know. And I thought to myself, I got myself into it. I can't get out of it now. So last year we went to Germany, Switzerland, and Italy. And I was tired. My mind was tired. But I had to look forward to going to another meeting. So we came back. And we got ready for Brazil. And then before we left Brazil, my son says, Mom, remember, when we get back, we got to get ready to come back to Austin. And I said, oh my God. That was pushing. That was very hard. Pretty soon I couldn't even think anymore. And then as the months went by, and then there's one young guy, I think he must have been about 20-some years old, when we were in where was that? England? Where was that? Remember that guy wanted to know, he asked me about dreams.
Oh, Italy.
That was in Italy. He told me about his dreams. And I thought, what do I know about dreams? But I thought about him. I told him the best that I could about dreams. What I know about dreams of that my grandmother told me, and then my son was having dreams, my oldest son. I remembered all those. And so I told him, talked to him about his dreams, and here I remembered him a few weeks back. I was just wondering how he was doing, and I couldn't even remember his name. There are so many people that we meet. Pretty soon I just can't remember their names. I just, oh, hello, hello, talk to them and be friendly with them. And then when we're going over there, who is that person? So the generation that is ahead of us, all of us sitting in here, we have to look forward to the generation ahead of us and talk to our younger ones and tell them about our past and their future. What we all went through, the rough times we went through, we have to let them know that they will not go through what we went through. Thank you.
Homia.
Your turn.
Good evening. As my sister was introducing herself, I'm from the Pine Ridge Reservation, out of the Black Hills of South Dakota. And my name is Beatrice Long Visitor Holy Dance, and my married name is Beatrice Weasel Bear. Our grandparents are Oglala Lakota Sioux, and we've been born and raised on that reservation they put us in, and we've lived there all our lives. I was very happy to come over here and see you nice people here. I was thankful for a nice room that we occupied last night, and thankful for all the food that was given to us today. My prayer is that the water and food be given to us every day. I pray unto the Creator that there will be no end to that water and food for the generations to come, for the next 7 generations and over that, beyond that. I pray that the Creator take care of all of our needs. I pray that there's a lot of things going on in this world today, but the things that I think about is our children and grandchildren's and great-grandchildren's and so on, the next generations to come. I think about all that, and I ask Creator every morning. When I get up, I go outside my house, and before that sun comes up, I stand outside, even in my bare feet in the wintertime. I stand out there and sing and pray towards that sun when it's coming up. And I ask for blessings for in the 4 directions where all the people live, the red, the black, the red, the yellow, the white. That's all of us people on this earth that the Creator put us here. And we should all always honor each other's. Don't look down upon any one of them. The black people, the red people, the yellow people, the white people. Always stand together as one, because we're no different from one another. We're all the creation of our Great Spirit. Tungashla Wakantanka. That's who I pray to. Tungashla Wakantanka means a Great Spirit. And Wanikya, Jesus, always say. Wanikya is Jesus. In our language, we say Wanikya, the Savior. That's what it means, Wanikya. I pray to him. Ask our brother Jesus to look after us. Look after all our children's, grandchildren's. Look after the old people. In the days of my life, I pray every day. I walk with prayer. Even before I even became a 13 grandmother. I learned how to pray ever since I could remember. I used to stand outside with my grandma. When that sun's coming up, she reaches up like this and she prays. Her and Grandpa. So I stand by them and pray with them. In our Lakota language, I speak to the Creator in my language. Because he gave me that language. So I pray to him like that. Then I was sent to school and learned the white man language. And learned the white man ways of praying. And I acknowledge that. I take it upon myself. No matter how I pray, if I mean it, that's what matters. So in this lifetime, I pray every day of my life. From every waking moment, I'm praying. Even in my home, I pray that things could be better for the people on this Mother Earth that's being destroyed left and right. They're destroying her and she's moving around. She's getting restless. Our Lakota people know that. They understand her. That's where we come from, all of us. We came from that Mother Earth. So why are we destroying her? We must not do things like that. We should take better care of her. She took care of us, put us here, gave us water, gave us food, give us nice things. And what do? We go into her and just destroy everything, take things out of her. To destroy what? For what reason are we doing that? Taking things out of her and using it to destroy each other. What kind are we? What kind of people are we that we do such things? People are so smart, they're outsmarting themselves. They don't know what to do with themselves anymore. And in there's some people suffering. People are suffering. Some are going without water and food. Who's going to answer? Who's going to be the responsible party? I think about all those things and I pray. I got grandchildren. One of my grandchildren graduated high school. Still, no money to go to school. Can't go on. I brought him along. He plays music too, but hasn't got the money to go to school. His father was a police officer for 44 years, just not retired. He had 13 children, all grown up. He's one of them. Brought him along so he could see what we're doing here. See you people, see what's going on in this world. Brought him along so he could see all that and think about it. These are the things that I worry about, is how are we going to survive in the next 7 generations? How are our people, myself, our generations, I don't know how long I'm going to live, but my grandchildren, great-grandchildren, they got a long ways to go yet. And in between that time, I want them to understand that there is a great spirit who put us here. And he's watching over us. And I want them to do good in this world, some way, somehow, survive. It's so sad to see them. They give them EBT, they call it, programs. They give them food stuff. All my life I worked. My sister and I, we worked all our lives. She was picking potatoes when she was 10 years old, I think. I was 8 years old. So I took a little 8-pound lard pail and I was trying to help her pick potatoes. Helped her. Just this evening she was saying, "You talk first." So I said, "No, you came ahead of me, so you talk first." I said, "No, you came first, so you have to talk first." And I respect her like that. I always want her to say something first. She's the only sister I got. And we just grew up out in the sticks, I might say, but our parents, they grew gardens. My dad plowed, and us kids, we went down with our mom, and she showed us how to plant, so we did it, plant. And then we took care of it all spring. We go down by the river, we have these 8-pound lard pails, and we go down by the river and bring water, walk with it, pour it on her garden. Every day we did that. At noon hour, our mom would call us and go back home. We eat, and then about 3 o'clock, she lets us go, so we run down the river and jump in and swim. That time the water was good, but now it's contaminated with that uranium mining. South of our place, there's a place called Crawford, Nebraska, and they're doing uranium mining there. And all that water's contaminated. We used to go fishing down there. We catch a lot of catfish, and that's what we was raised up on, eating catfish. Every morning we run down to the river and get our fishing poles, and we set our lines, so in the morning we go and pick it up and bring it back. Bring our fish back to our mom. She cooks it and then we eat. That's how we grew up. And then we take care of the garden for her. And in the fall, my sister and I, we're just like mules. We have to take sacks and we put those great big squash in those sacks and we carry it on our backs and come up the hill, bring it back to the house. Mom would go down there in a wagon and she'd pull the wagon close to the corn and we pick corn and then bring it back. Then we dry the corn. We cook it and we dry it. And she makes 100 pounds of corn. All the ladies from that community come up and they help her and she gives them each 100 pounds of dry corn to take home. She helped the people like that. She always did. And the elderlies, they come to our home. We didn't have much, but they come to our home every day. Our grandpa and grandma, in a wagon they come. And my mom feeds them. She feeds them noon meal. They eat and then they go home. Every day they come to eat, those old people. And here now they have elderly programs. And my mom, she just stayed at home and cooked for them, cooked and fed those old people, so they always come around to eat. There was one white lady got married into the tribe. She had 2 boys. She used to come to our house. She needs food. My mom used to let her wash clothes. And then she'd give her food and give her money, and then they'd go. Those things I remember growing up. My mom used to be real kind to the people. She taught us a lot of good things, our mom and our dad. They're always working. We worked all our lives, worked hard. I'm still working. I drive a truck and deliver medications to people. Old people, and people that drink, that forget to take their medicine. I go take their medicine to them and give it to them every day. But I enjoy it. I love driving the countryside and singing and praying and go to where I have to go and deliver medications, do those things. And I think that our people, every one of our young people, always think, if I keep working, well, I know my sons and daughters are going to keep working, and my grandchildren. And they're doing that now. They're all doing it. My oldest daughter says, we have no reason to give up our work because Mom's still working, she always says. She's in her 60s. So I think that if you set a good example for your children and grandchildren's, and they follow suit. That's how my family is. What I do, they follow suit. And I keep going like that. Sometimes I drive through the snow, ice, everything. But I still go. And I think that the children, when they see a grandma working, they're going to do it too. There's a lot of things going on on our reservation. But it's everywhere, not only our reservation, it's all over the world. Things are happening to young people. Some go in the wrong direction. But with prayers, some of them are coming to our prayer meetings now. So I'm real happy for that. And the other thing is that they need to learn how to put in my son and my daughter-in-law. My son-in-law and my daughter, they have, they call it a gardening project. And they plow, they go around plowing fields. My son-in-law gets people to go work out there, plow fields for the whole reservation. There's about 400 people he plows for every spring. And then they send, from Running Strong, they send him seeds. So seeds, they sort out the seeds. There's work for girls and boys, whoever wants to work. And they sort out the seeds and they get it ready, and then people come and ask for seeds. He gives it to them. And we plant, he's got a greenhouse, so we plant there. I even go down there and help him plant. And then deliver all them on the reservation. He does that, him and my daughter. They do things for the reservation people. My daughter's working with a lot of the old people's council, old people's council. They're asking for the return of the Blackheels. And she's working with them. She's been running all over the reservation, going into North Dakota and all the ones that are like there's a lot of tribes. There's all those Oglala Lakota tribes over on the north side. She goes all over there talking to them people. And they're praying about it, that they can get some kind of help from there. That we have water rights and we have all these things going. But nobody ever paid attention. Maybe because of General Custer, maybe they keep us like that. I worry about them, but I pray about it too. That they can understand that they need to eat better foods, grow gardens, and that's what my son-in-law is trying to do, grow gardens and eat the right food. That's what they tell them. Have them grow gardens, that's what they're doing. So in there, besides the Grandma's Council, I've been all over the world praying for people, praying for peace. And I love it. I know I get tired too, but I love it because it gives me a chance to go see they say third world country. We have our own third world country on our reservation. I seen that over there. It was worse. I thought we were bad off. Over there, brought tears to my eyes. I saw some little children fighting over food. I hope to God that never happens here. Broke my heart to see that. I sure don't want it to happen to us over here. Praying about it so that won't happen. Praying that those children over there might have something good to eat, some good water to drink, something good to eat at least once a day. Coming out of the bushes, reaching out to us, asking for food. I felt that. Every time I think about it, it makes me cry. So I think that's about all I have to say. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Do you want to sing before or after that question?
I need some Kleenex during my... Huh? I need some Kleenex during my talking someplace.
So you've heard these beautiful stories tonight about that profound love and deep responsibility that the grandmothers carry for our future. And with that sense of reciprocity tonight, we're going to invite you, if you feel so moved. These programs are our gift to the community. So if you would like to give a gift to advance the grandmothers' work, supporting their communities, supporting our earth, you'll have the opportunity to do so. We have baskets by the doors, and those donations will go to a charity of their choice. But we're going to complete this evening with a beautiful gift of prayer. So I'm going to turn this over to the grandmothers for the beautiful gift of completion.
Taco.
Okay, we're gonna. Is it on?
Yeah, it's on.
We want to, as Native Americans, we want to pay respect to our Native American ancestors that lived here on this ground that we are all at today. So I'm going to sing a song to my mother's request. This song is a very old song. We don't know how old it is because no one knows its origin. But it's a song to the ancestors. And so I'm going to ask you all to stand, or those that can stand. Wakantranka troka peya Chewak yelo yohweye Wakantranka troka peya Chewak yelo yohweye Midaku yeop Wanik dacha troka peya Chewak yelo yohweye Wakantranka troka peya Chewak yelo yohweye Midaku yeop Wanik dacha troka peya Chewak yelo yohweye hoi Wakantranka troka peya Chewak yelo yohweye Wakantranka troka peya Chewak yelo yohweye Midaku yeop Wanik dacha troka peya Chewak yelo yohweye Wakantranka troka peya Chewak yelo yohweye Midaku yeop Wanik dacha troka peya Chewak yelo yohweye hoi Hau mitaku yasi.
Mitaku yasi.
So on behalf of the Office of Religious and Spiritual Life, we are so very deeply grateful for your gifts of song and prayer and your stories and the lineage that you've brought here. We will carry this with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.